to sleep.
Sleep.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's up, gentlemen?
You know,
Yeah.
the usual.
No.
The huge.
You can pretend
Yeah.
you don't know, but you know.
I'm going to start recording.
I'm recording as well.
I'm going to go ahead and do that.
Let me start recording.
Ethan's chewing, so he's
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. Oh, I love food. I can't be without food for 2 minutes, just like I can't be without video games.
Wow.
I slather.
Wow.
That is harsh.
Yikes.
I slather guacamole on my Switch. So
Phil,
I always
Phil,
have.
Phil,
I do that regularly.
it's guacamole. Come on, man.
Oh,
Right.
oh,
Eat
It's
salad.
good.
I
Also,
slather.
this
good
Phil
to
is
speak
a
English.
delicious meat long football. Just so you know.
You bet it is.
Meat long football.
Meat long football.
Mm.
Long.
One
Can't
meat long
wait.
football.
Can't wait for the autumn.
One meat long football.
Oh, by the way, so when I was
Yep.
out in LA this weekend, we went past the Staples Center and there was a game going on, but it wasn't a
Yeah.
Lakers game, but it was a Clippers game. Is Clippers hockey?
No.
No.
What
no.
is
The Clippers are also basketball.
They have two. LA has two basketball teams,
Yes.
Yeah.
and they have the same stadium.
That's not entirely unheard of.
Oh, I'm
That's
trying to
less
process it.
unheard of. It's probably less unheard of than them flooding the basketball court and then freezing it.
Oh,
So they
okay.
can play hockey there.
You mean they play basketball
although-
and hockey in the same
although
stadium?
actually,
That's
Phil-
crazy.
Phil,
Yeah.
in the NHL now, multiple games a year, they do exactly that.
they do
Not a
that?
basketball
Aha,
court,
see?
but a football or baseball field. They will flood and have an outdoor game.
That's
How smart do you
hilarious.
feel now, Phil? See,
Pretty
See?
smart.
Did you know
Pretty
that? Did you know that Steve Ballmer owns the LA Clippers?
I did not.
no.
Now you know.
I only found out about 2 seconds ago, and I went to Wikipedia.
Did you know? Did you know
To
that
double
Steve-
check if they were in fact the second.
I just want to see if,
team.
I just want to see if they're actually,
Yeah.
Did you know that Steve Ballmer is very ticklish under his left arm? But not
I
his-
did not know that.
yeah. So if you meet him,
They
You
have
mean-
been, the Staples Center has been their home arena for 18 years now.
yeah. Okay.
So I would say that's not unusual.
There you go.
Will he yell developers when you tickle him?
Developers.
Yes, but he won't be a shrinking violet about it. He'll laugh boisterously and say it.
Like a bowl full of jelly. All right.
File that one under you've been balmered.
Yeah. Oh, just the other warning: if you do it, your hand will be wet. I'm just saying.
Aw,
If you do it,
that's not.
You said
Good.
doo-doo.
do it.
You said
I
doo-doo.
hate everything about that sentence.
Especially the doo-doo.
Yeah,
do it.
you do that doo
All
doo
right.
that you do so well.
Go do that do.
Yoo-hoo. All right. We going to clap?
I know. See, I know that Phil was quoting Elmo's dad there.
What?
Were you? Because you did it
What?
in the same. You did it in the same accent and everything.
What-
Elmo's
what- what-
father. Elmo's dad. Have you
Yeah,
never
what-
seen Elmo's potty song?
I have, but what I don't remember
You
how Elmo's father sounds.
That pretty much the voice you just made.
What this go do that voodoo that doo doo.
Well, you're really trying now, but
No, well,
when you weren't
reaching.
trying, you sounded.
I
just like him.
wasn't trying.
When your natural talent was allowed to shine through.
Well,
Ah.
All right, I'm ready for a clap.
Okay.
Let's clap. 3, 2, 1.
Sounded
Delicious.
That sounded
That
terrible.
was good. It was fine. It was
Ew.
fine. It was fine. It was fine.
Phil needs to wipe off his microphone.
Am the very model of a modern major general.
Uh-huh.
Doo doo that you do so well
I don't
is
feel like
really-
those are the lyrics at all.
What? What?
No,
Nothing.
those aren't.
What's that?
Are we ready to do this? We ready?
I've been ready for 10 minutes.
Ready?
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to episode 445. Wait, I said 400, didn't I?
You did. It's okay. It's not an honest mistake. It's not like you've been doing this for 10 years or anything.
Hello and welcome to episode 545 of the Blair One podcast for Tuesday, April 18th, 2017. I'm your host, Chris Johnston. With me, as always, from Canada, Mr. Greg Seward.
Stanley Cup playoff season, and if I'm not paying attention tonight and staring off camera, I am totally not doing that because the Penguins and the Blue Jackets are playing the third period of Game 3. Just so
I'll
you know.
know if you're not paying attention to the show because we'll be posting GIFs on Twitter. The same GIF on Twitter.
That little.
Constantly.
That's not a GIF. Is it a GIF?
It's a JPEG.
Yes.
Okay, JPEG, fine.
And by the way,
I just assumed
kid.
that I just assumed that all images on Twitter are animated GIFs. You see,
it's a celebratory JPEG.
I just,
Okay.
I just loaded up Twitter, and sure enough, in case you missed it, 2 hours ago, Greg Seward posted
Yeah.
little child in a
Celebratory.
Penguins
It's that
jersey.
time of year, okay? As
Okay.
long as the Penguins are still in the
Clenching.
playoffs, that's going to happen.
it's almost time for Phil to do his May the 4th be with you.
I know. I can't wait.
We're getting
I
there.
always love that. I always love that time of year.
These
We're getting
recurring
there.
jokes are fantastic.
I
the
really feel like
Blair
that's
One
the whole
podcast.
reason people come back.
It is.
May
It
the
really is.
fourth be with you. Yoo-hoo.
And joining me from California, Mr. Phil Theobald. Hello.
It's snippy. Everyone wants to get the snipper clippers. Get the snippy clippy clip snips. You see?
You're making Ethan laugh, and he's got his mute
He's
on.
got
so
a-
he can't even.
Ethan's
can't
got his
even
mouth
hear it.
full.
Oh no, I'm not muted now. I'm good
Oh,
and
For,
ready to go.
for those who weren't here for the pre-show, Ethan will be dining this week. He claims he's going to turn off his mic every time he starts chewing, but we know that's not going to happen every single time.
The ramen he's
Wow.
eating was $1.50 a bag.
Well,
so it's the
hey,
good
do you
stuff.
remember? Do you remember in Chicago you could go to movies like Lord of the Rings, and they would give you a full meal with your entertainment, and it was fancy. It's like that now. I'm making the show classier, fancier, because it's like a dine-in experience.
There is like a whole YouTube subculture of people who film themselves eating, and people watch.
Yeah, I
that.
don't get that.
You know that?
There's also a YouTube subculture of people who pop pimples on YouTube. I don't
Oh,
get
yeah,
that
that's
either.
also true.
God.
Yeah, that's just
I-
it's all kinds of wrong.
I'm
I
just
know.
amused that Snipper Clipper guy was able to make Ethan laugh so much he almost spat up his food. I figured.
I heard
There
on
was
a
not even a
podcast.
What's that?
I think it's due by Friday. Great podcast if you want, if you like to laugh. And they were
Is that-
talking about
Is that DOO by Friday?
I
DO
just so you know,
by Friday.
I hate to
Less
laugh.
interested. You
What?
hate to laugh?
I hate to laugh.
Okay, well then you're not going to like this podcast. But they talked about YouTube videos of people who are unpacking their groceries. That's all it is.
What is wrong with the world?
Like a YouTube thing of people unpacking groceries.
Wow.
So I bought
I don't
some
understand.
Heinz ketchup.
Yeah,
No
Look.
talking. No talking.
Not even they're not narrating what they bought.
That's right.
It's just
Unpacking.
Just
Groceries.
Did you notice? Did
On
you
YouTube.
see recently that YouTube changed their rules now? So unless your video gets at least 10,000 views, you don't make any money.
oh
Yeah.
yes.
So there's $1.50 I'm going to lose every month.
Oh man.
And joining us from the great state of California and VR land, Mr. Ethan Einhorn. Hello.
Hey there. Yeah, I just came back from VRLA, or as we called it at the show, VCLA, because it was like all stuff that was making absolutely no money and just venture capital money being presented on the show floor. It's a weird thing because it's like, you have all these big elaborate booths and it kind of looks like E3, but a ghost town, but focused only on VR. And more technologies being shown than actual games.
It kind of
Yeah.
looks like E3 before it opens every day.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is-
exactly.
I think that previous statement there kind of illustrates Ethan's slow transition from gamer to gaming executive. When I hear VC, my immediate thought was, virtual console.
Yeah.
Oh.
Whereas Ethan's just like, VC, venture capital.
You don't
As Ethan straightens his tie.
Silicon Valley, great show on HBO, is coming back for another season very soon.
That's
So
right.
Like,
should watch
Ethan's
that.
like the real life boss baby.
Oh, yeah. No, wait.
Wait,
There's more important
say
story here.
cookies
Have
are
you
for
s-
closers.
Yeah,
Cookies are for closers.
do it.
Say that.
Have
Do
you
it.
seen Boss Baby? Have you
I have
seen
not
it?
couple times, yeah.
Really? Big
Yeah,
Alec
well-
Baldwin fan, are you?
Well, no, big smirking baby fan. That's why I love Greg Stewart's Twitter feed so much lately. But
there you go.
I've had to watch it several times just to make sure that my fan fiction stays in universe.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
Because that would be embarrassing.
Yeah,
That would be.
I don't want to. I don't want to ostracize myself at Big Baby Con, which is coming up later this year.
That sounds.
I will
creepy
say
as
though
hell.
that your big baby.
Boss baby. I'm sorry. That's
Oh,
I'm
right.
really gonna embarrass myself.
Big
Boss
baby
Con.
con is every night when Phil goes to sleep.
Also, though, Phil, the cosplay outfit that you have for that is pretty inappropriate. Go with the suit and not the diaper. I mean, come on, man.
Why
I put a
why
lot
not
of
do
effort
both?
into that.
Why not do both?
I put a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of expense. I'll have
No,
you know.
but you got to put just as much time into the gym as well before trying to make that work.
Oh, wait a minute. No. How many babies have you seen that are totally jacked up? That wouldn't be realistic at all. Phil's current body type
I
is
got-
far
I got-
closer
I
to a
got a-
newborn than
I got a baby physique.
exactly.
So you're saying he would be able to pull it off in a way that Carrot Top could not?
exactly.
That's true.
Yeah.
I complete with the little 2 inches of dried jerky hanging
thank
off my
God you
navel.
said dried jerky. I didn't know where you were going with that.
I was talking umbilical cord. Umbilical cord. Not
Nice.
Jeez, Greg, get your mind out of
listen.
the Penguins game and into
I can't. There's
But
12
try
minutes left, and they're tied at 3-all.
3-all, eh?
Yeah.
Sound like both teams scored a hat trick,
I hate you.
right?
Bum, ba, dum, ba, dum.
Right?
No.
Hockey, the sport of kings.
Yes. All right then.
Well,
Ethan,
we
we
on our
didn't
show
get
for
to
this
talk to you
week?
last week about the Scorpio stuff.
Oh, yeah.
What's your hot take?
So my hot take is I definitely am more interested in that than the PS4 Pro, but still the big issue for me is I don't think I'll end up buying that until and unless I get a 4K TV, which I don't plan to do anytime in the near future. So it's kind of tied to that. It looks great, but I'm not like super excited to pick it up. What about you?
You just described exactly how I feel about it.
You're pretty much describing exactly how all of us felt.
It's
about
almost
it.
like you listened to the show last week and summarized.
I did. I listened to the show. But yeah, I mean that's the thing. And I do understand that it does a lot more than just, provide a 4K experience, but it's not compelling enough to me right now to be excited about it.
Yeah, it is a little strange though. I mean, I'm the person who buys an iPhone every year, and I care about speed
So weird.
in mobile devices. And yes, that's weird. But when it comes to video game systems, and I buy multiple 3DSs, but when it comes to like something connected to the TV, the 10-foot experience, I'm fine with what I have. I don't need the 4K HDR awesomeness.
Well, for me, another thing, and it's the lazy man syndrome of I then have to figure out what to do with my very nice 1080p plasma. And it's huge. I don't know where I would put it in the house. I don't think that there'd be another space for it. I wouldn't want to throw it away or give it away.
Sell it.
But
Yeah.
how, like, to whom? How does that transaction take place? Maybe Craigslist, I guess. But even that
you
is
could
too
open
much
up
of a pain.
a little stand outside of GameStop and sell it that way.
No, but
TV
it's
for
just-
sale. Get your TV right here.
I'm just
Can't
saying,
play
like,
your games without a TV.
by comparison, upgrading your phone is easy because you don't have to
Right.
upgrade anything else.
Yeah, I think that's true. Yeah. Alrighty, let's get into some Nintendo, shall we?
Oh,
Good, because it's been a week.
Let's we'll start with the bad news. IGN revealed that Nintendo has indeed discontinued the NES Classic.
What do you mean? That's good news for us. It makes our NES classics more valuable. We already have it.
That's
care
true.
about.
Yeah.
I don't, man. I just, the NES Classic make me so angry.
Yeah.
I just hate I hate every single thing about how they handled that system from launch to discontinuation.
And I'd love to understand why. And I also love that they said, we really understand that customers had a hard time with this, trying to pick up a NES Classic, and we're sorry about that, but we're not going to make any more. I mean, it's like, well, if you really cared at all, you would make more. That's the solution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they did.
I think what it is that Nintendo does not want to be in the business of selling something that's a one and done device, right? They want people to buy a 3DS because you'll be buying games for that. You'll be buying Amiibo for that. They want people to buy a Switch because you'll buy games for that. You'll buy Amiibo for that. You'll buy Joy-Con accessories like battery packs and all that other stuff. They don't want to be in the business of selling a product that has no future outlook to it. I think they probably thought, and probably rightfully so, halfway through 2016, hey, we're going to have a pretty bad Christmas if we don't have something to sell people, because the 3DS at that point, they introduced that thing in 2011. It's I think 2011, right? So it's 4 or 5 years down the road for that system, probably going to be leveling off, even though we have a Pokemon game coming out for it. It might not be that strong. And then Pokemon Go happened, which was probably a surprise to a certain extent. And then Pokemon Sun and Moon obviously Pokemon Go renewed interest in Pokemon in general, which certainly helped Sun and Moon and the 3DS in general. Yeah. And then you had the other mobile games, Mario Run and Fire Emblem in December that did very well. So suddenly, like, this product that they probably thought of as we'll do this thing for the holidays. I mean, in the Q&A for the NES Classic, they said they originally didn't even have the Famicom Mini ready. Like, they only prepared that product after they saw the NES Mini. Right. Yeah. Well, but I mean, the company got excited about it. So to me, they thought, okay, this is a holiday thing. We're going to sell it for a very short period of time. These retro consoles that have preloaded games sell X amount usually. So we're going to do that, see how it does. And then now they're not interested in continuing to sell those to people.
Yeah.
They want to sell people Switches. They want to sell people 3DSs.
Well, yeah. I mean, it makes perfect sense. Like, you're gonna make way more money on those things eventually. But yeah,
yes,
I don't know. I just hate.
I think it sucks. I think it sucks though, because obviously there are still people that still want it, even though
there's a ton of people who still want it.
It's been fairly readily available via Amazon Prime now, at least. Everybody I know,
if you happen to live in one of the handful of cities where
yes, that's true. Yeah. Everybody I know at work that wanted one has been able to get one by this point. So
yeah, but again, those are people that are going to go out of their way to get it. I think the real loss is there's not been a single window of time in which the average consumer who's a lapsed
can walk into a store and buy one.
Exactly. Yeah,
you're right. You're right.
Everyone said that this was supposed to be kind of a point of purchase sale, right? Just something that you walk up to the front of your cashier line and it's there, and you just say, "Oh, cool," and pick it up. That's never been even tested, I think, in the market. And I think it could sell in order of magnitude more than it has. And I also don't think that it meaningfully overlaps with the Switch consumer in a way that would somehow discourage virtual console sales.
It definitely doesn't right now, considering there is no virtual console in the Switch right now.
Right. Yeah, sure.
Hang on a sec. I got to post a picture of a baby.
Oh, finally.
So what happens if they announce an NES Classic pack for the Switch that's sold at $60 that runs on the Switch instead?
Well, first of all, I would
console type thing.
Yeah, like basically the NES Classic lineup, the 30 games, but it's on Switch instead of buying a separate thing.
I would probably buy that.
Even though you think have an NES Classic.
Yeah, because I like the idea of being able to carry it on the go with me. Yeah,
well, there you go. That's true.
And that's what I'm saying also about it not being something that's going to cannibalize the sales on the Switch. No, I think that those customers just buy it again. But I also would be really surprised if they did it as a bundled pack like that instead of selling it a la carte as they have before.
Yeah, the other reason why
they do that.
The other reason why, yeah, I mean, what you're right about not cannibalizing virtual console sales on the Switch. I mean, there might be a tiny bit of crossover, but it's not for people who own a Switch. It's for people who don't want to go out and spend $300 on a new console.
Right.
Yeah.
I always bring up my brother, but again, he's a lapsed gamer. He's somebody who has fond memories of playing tons of Excite Bike
Yeah.
35 years ago.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's weird that Nintendo would not want to continue to sell something to those people, which there are a lot of.
Like
I do wonder.
in the US alone or something like that.
It sold nearly 1 million. Yeah.
No, I'm saying how many NES sales were there in the US back in the 80s?
Oh, I don't know.
I think it was
I'm
like
talking about
34
NES
million.
Classic. They sold
No.
nearly
Okay.
1 million of those.
What I'm saying is that the potential market for it, there
Is
are
all of those
tens
people.
of millions of people who had an NES when they were kids.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. You're right.
Well,
Right.
and the other thing also is all of these kind of projections from people in the industry of like how Nintendo's going to get back on top and all the tricks they have to do. And it's like, well, here's a company that has a product that is highly desirable that they've just decided to pull the plug on. It's like that's hard to understand.
It's
Like,
hard to
I guess-
understand.
Mhm.
I think it is because they don't want to be the company that makes retro consoles with games preloaded onto them. I think that's the worry. They don't want to be known for that.
Yeah. Okay.
I actually think it's going to be a surprise if we see a Super Nintendo Mini,
I was just
I
going
can't
to say,
imagine there will be.
because
Really?
clearly they're not interested in that market.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's the thing. I
Well,
mean,
now,
it-
there-
if
go ahead,
if we take at face value what they said when the little NES Classic first came out and started selling like gangbusters, and they were just like, "Oh, we had no idea."
Right.
For some reason, Ethan's giant sandwich chomping maw is on my screen, and I'm finding it hard to concentrate when something that sensual is staring me right in the face. It sounded like the success of the NES Classic really took Nintendo by surprise when it first came out, and then we talked
Mhm.
about this back then, where it seemed even back then that this was meant as more of a lark, and like you said, CJ,
Yeah.
just something to have on the shelf for Christmas.
So that their revenues weren't so terrible in 2016.
Right, exactly. But yeah, I don't think that they have an interest in pursuing this.
No.
I guess it's a little ironic that Nintendo doesn't have any interest in pursuing this sort of path of being a toy company.
well, that's just. I think it's ironic.
given the company's start, but
I think it's ironic.
then
that
again-
Nintendo, a company that has cashed in on nostalgia for 20, 30 years now,
yeah,
doesn't want to cash in on nostalgia. Like, I don't
Well,
understand.
They did.
and
they
I
did
can
for
say with-
a few like a 3-month period. They did.
I
Yeah,
can
they
say
still-
with, I think, reasonable authority that if their 16-bit competitors had something like this on the market that was impossible to keep in stock, they wouldn't just pull the plug. I mean, I can only imagine
course.
being at Sega and having something like this, like a really high quality first party Sega Genesis Mini that was impossible to find. That would just be something that Sega would keep pumping money into.
you know what I
Yeah.
dare say would be even cooler than a Genesis Mini.
What is
No-
that?
No offense, Stuart. A TurboGrafx
Oh
Mini.
man, yeah.
with like all those
But-
shooters and.
But people don't have nostalgia.
Nostalgia.
for-
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it would sell
Be
better.
cool
I'm
for
saying
us.
it would be.
Right.
It would be.
You're saying
it
that
would-
you would like that.
Yes.
You
No,
personally.
it would not sell any better. In fact, it would sell significantly worse. But
Okay.
yeah, I would love to have a Turbo Mini. But yeah, I do not think we're going to see a SNES Mini anytime,
No, not anymore.
unless there is at some point years down the road
I was going to say when the Switch starts flagging.
a
Oh,
holiday
right.
season where they don't have anything necessarily planned. We might see a SNES Mini, but
Yeah.
or maybe
Well,
an NES Classic 2.
I don't know if there's any chance of that, because I don't know if you heard this, that
What's
the
that?
Nintendo Switch is the company's fastest selling system ever.
Well, I did hear that. Yes.
Ever. And that Breath of the Wild has a 100% attach rate.
100
it-
plus.
100 plus.
Yeah.
Which is funny to me.
Yeah.
Well, because of special editions and whatnot, people probably bought 2 copies.
Yes.
Right.
People are weird.
So
People buying the
People
game
are
and can't
weird.
find the system yet.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
yeah,
Real quick, before we go on to Zelda talk again, because heaven knows there hasn't been enough Zelda talk on this show. Not that it would ever happen, but do you think it would be worth Nintendo's time to license out the NES Classic Edition?
I don't think they would ever do that.
Well,
I don't think they would do that either.
Well, no, of course they wouldn't. Of course they wouldn't. But do you think that it would be worth their time to think about doing it, to license it
No.
to some other company? You don't think so?
No, because I think they have interest in using classic games as a selling point for their online service for the Switch.
Okay, so you are in the it will cannibalize the sales.
I'm not necessarily talking about it'll cannibalize the sales. I think they want to put the value of their retro games into the online service fee, not the NES Classic device.
Okay.
The other thing is too is that you look at how that's worked out for other companies.
Right.
Like like for example, at games with the Genesis stuff. I mean, it's
terrible Genesis system. Yeah,
a shit show.
It's terrible.
So,
Yeah.
there you go.
Well, anyway,
Just-
the Switch
just
sold a
throwing that
whole
out
lot.
Yeah, the Switch sold a lot.
By estimates, they've sold more than 2 million of them so
Wow.
far. And
Very
it
nice.
does appear, just from looking at Twitter and Wario64's feed, that the Switch goes back in stock fairly often at different
yeah, I
places.
haven't heard huge complaints about the Switch.
I have not seen one in store yet, but I have seen pictures of people who did see them in stores.
Well, so
and
here's
I have seen Pro controllers in the store. And I've
Yes.
seen Joy-Cons in
I
the
saw them everywhere this weekend.
Yeah, same here. They must have had a big rollout of the
Yeah.
Pro controllers.
Yeah.
Here's the thing though, is it's fun to show people. And so this morning we had a big family get together, and I was able to show my nephew the machine, and he usually carries this old tablet around wherever he goes, and he's playing a lot of tablet games. And when I showed him the Switch, I pulled it out of my pocket, and first it didn't have the Joy-Cons on it. And so it looked familiar to him. And then I popped the Joy-Cons on, and he just was super excited to get his hands on it. When he saw Zelda, he was really excited, and it was clear that he was going to be asking his dad for one. It was really nice also to be able to put it down, flip out the Joy-Cons, and show him snipper clips. And my daughter ended up playing that with him.
Everyone loves the snippy.
But once somebody of the tablet generation, the kids, gets their hands on it and actually plays it, then I think they pretty quickly see the value of it.
Wasn't this the kid that a while back you said you'd shown VR to, and once the tablet generation got their hands on VR, isn't this the same kid?
It's
I
the
don't
same
recall
kid,
that
yeah.
discussion.
But think about this:
I
like,
do
which
recall
one is
that
more,
discussion.
which one's more accessible, and which one is going to fit more closely into his life?
Sure. What kind of tablet does he have?
An Android tablet?
Okay, which goes for how much?
What, maybe $200-300?
Okay,
I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm sure his dad is delighted that you
That you showed him.
here go spend another $300.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
saying it's not one of those things where you show it to kids and the response is likely to be, why on earth would I want physical controls, or what the heck is that? It seemed, at least in this instance, right, that the response was more, oh, that's really cool, that's a step up.
Did he say?
Well-
did he say finally a system with unobfuscated spending and no sunsetting? Did he say that?
He did not say that.
Well, and
No.
let me ask you this, Ethan. The next time this kid, I mean, unless he has a birthday between now and then, the next time this kid is going to be in a position where he can get a large present, is probably about 8 months away. Do you think the excitement of seeing Zelda and the joy of playing a tablet game with physical controls might fade in the months between
I think the big question
seeing you
is,
and not?
It's obviously a lot more about, are his friends getting them, than just seeing it from me. But if he sees his friends get it, then I think
Sure.
absolutely,
That's
very much
absolutely
like we were wanting as kids the NES because all of our friends had one.
It's interesting that you mention physical controls. So, do we really think that the tablet generation has played games on tablets with touchscreen controls because they don't like physical controls, or is it more about the convenience that they can take the game anywhere, and they've kind of gotten used to touchscreen controls?
I think that we need
that's
to
the device they can play anywhere.
I think that we need to stop talking about those experiences from our perspective, because we're the ones who have that perspective. We're the ones who grew up using physical controls. It's not a matter of them choosing physical or not, or touchscreen controls. It's what they're used to. It has
That's what I'm
nothing to do
saying.
with it. Yeah, like, I mean, if physical controls are great, I guarantee that generation, they are not as important to those kids as they are to us.
Okay,
what
but
I'm saying
here's
is that a tablet is important because you can bring that experience with you in any room in the house. You can use it while your parents are watching the television,
and there's lots of free games.
Well, there's that too, but it's exactly the value proposition of the Switch is being able to play on your own private screen anywhere in the house.
But but the free
without the free games.
What I'm willing to bet, though, is that when we're talking about, and this kid was 11 years old, right? But when you're talking about 11, 12, 13, when they are handed this device with the physical controls on it, it's not like they're going to say, what's this? This is confusing. They're going to love it. It's because it's more precise. It's like even my kids.
Maybe. See, again, the thing is that it's more precise, but they're not playing games that require that level of precision on a touchscreen.
Right.
I think that's true.
Seriously, though, if those kids that age, are you kidding me? If they're shown something like Breath of the Wild, like being able to actually be in that adventure and have full control over the character. I mean, that's the big thing. Like when you're looking at most mobile games, you don't have direct agency. The characters have to walk on their own and you only control jumping or whatnot. This actually lets you be the character, and that fantasy fulfillment is something that any 11, 12, 13-year-old kid would love. I'm not saying they wouldn't like the other stuff, but
let's move along real quick to the Nintendo Direct that happened last week, because I want to bring up. Wait.
Before we do that, I just wanted to say, because it came up in the chat here a minute ago, Blair Farrell was asking about the Neo Geo X. Yes, there was a Neo Geo portable that came out years ago that had to be recalled because SNK Playmore got into a big fight with Tomo. So just wanted to call out that that was a thing he was asking, and just wanted to say yes, that is a thing that happened.
Okay, well, let's move on now to the Nintendo Direct, because I want to bring in Minecraft, because Minecraft is going to be out on Nintendo Switch in May. And
kids love Minecraft.
Kids do love Minecraft, and that not a whole lot of people are talking about that, but I think that's like a huge thing that Minecraft is coming.
You know what else?
Switch.
You know what else kids love?
What?
Kids love the $7 Minecraft on the iPhone as opposed to the $60 Minecraft on Switch.
We don't know if it's going to be $60 though. It's not $60.
I can tell you one thing: it won't be $7.
It won't be $7.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is like, once again, this is a game that will play much better on a Switch. It's designed to play with a controller.
But you're coming at it from your perspective, not the perspective.
No. Here, I would agree with you to the degree that most kids are playing games that are optimized for touch control. Minecraft is not and never has been optimized for touch control. It's always been optimized for a keyboard, mouse, or a controller.
I've seen kids play Minecraft on
you
a
would not believe
it
how
is
good
freaking crazy.
Yes,
how good they are.
Yep.
Sure, they can get over a handicap, but still, I bet you just about every one of those kids is going to prefer the experience with
You're looking at it from your perspective. You're looking at it from your perspective, but I agree with Greg that is not.
Well, CJ, I remember you explicitly saying that games on mobile that are trying to do virtual sticks suck, and they do. And
you're right,
they do.
And you know what perspective CJ is speaking from? 30 years of playing games on a console.
Exactly.
I can only
exactly it.
I can only talk as someone who spends time with about 30 10-year-olds every day, listening to them talk about games.
Yeah.
Out of my group of 30 kids, there was one kid super excited about the Switch.
Okay.
Yeah.
and he got one for his birthday. He was super excited about it. Super excited about Zelda. He got Zelda. You know what else? You know what game every other kid in my class who is talking about games is talking about?
What?
You're gonna hate it.
Clash of Clans.
Clash Royale.
You're saying Clash Royale. And I'm not saying that monetizing behavioral addiction isn't awesome, because of course it is.
No, it's
No one's
but
saying that,
these kids are not spending money on the game.
No, just like my son.
These kids are 10 years old. They're not.
All right, well, let's get back to the Nintendo Direct. We know free to play and predatory gambling mechanics are bad, but let's talk about the Switch. And I think Minecraft coming in May is great news.
The point is the kids are not experiencing Zelda the way that a bunch of 40-year-olds who used to work in the gaming press and who are trained to find these, incredible vistas and explorations.
You're absolutely right.
So of course I am.
Yeah, but
and DJ,
yeah,
very, very handsome.
Yes, indeed.
I'm correct, and very handsome.
That's right. What I was going to say is,
what about this Direct?
So yeah, the Nintendo Direct that happened last week. Now you got Minecraft in May. So I think we've got a great lineup here. You got Mario Kart coming at the end of this month. You've got Minecraft in May. You've got ARMS in June and Splatoon 2 in July.
Yes.
That's a pretty good 5-month period for the Switch.
Amazon right now, by the way, has Minecraft listed at $60.
That's surprising. How much is it on like PS4? It's not 60 on PS4 or Xbox One, right?
I don't know. The Wii version, I believe, is 30. Or the Wii U version.
Right.
That sounds more like what it is on PS4, because I did buy it on PS4, and I certainly don't remember spending 60 on it.
No.
Right, but it's.
I want to say I didn't spend that much on the Xbox One either.
The PS4 wasn't a brand new system that they could get away with charging more.
Yeah, and they have the Marios.
Then the other thing is that the physical version is not coming out in May. It's coming out later. The version of Minecraft that comes out in May is the digital only version. So going back to the Nintendo Direct, we've got ARMS coming in June. ARMS continues to look pretty good. I want to hear more information on more characters and whether the thing has a story mode or like a single player mode, because personally I'm not all that interested in fighting games. I'm more interested in a punch out style thing. If it's got that going for it, I'm going to be more excited about it.
Yeah,
I bet you it will. I mean, Splatoon has a single player mode.
I'm sure it will. I want to hear more about that before I get really excited about it.
I think where you've got a system that is portable, you've got to have a single player mode.
Yeah.
It's not going to have network capability. It doesn't have mobile data capability. So you got to have something that makes it worth playing when you're not connected.
Right.
Yes, and they showed off Splatoon 2, the new mode in that, the salmon run mode, the kind of a horde mode style thing in Splatoon 2.
Yeah, that looks fun too. I think that's going to be a huge ad for the suite of gameplay modes.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're doing more amiibo for that, of course.
Of course.
Well, I see 3 people here that I hope I can get into a 4-player cooperative match with.
For Splatoon?
Splatoon 2?
Of course.
Maybe.
I'm definitely playing Splatoon 2.
Yeah,
because I love
see.
First game. So
TBD.
They've got neon yellow Joy-Cons.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Alongside ARMS. I was surprised, actually, just due to the number of amiibo announcements they had during this Direct, that we didn't see ARMS amiibos announced.
Yeah, actually, it's good point.
But maybe it's because not all of the fighters have been announced for that. But we did see some more Smash Brothers amiibo.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we did. Finally
coming out.
I'm stoked because my all-time favorite Wii U game is Bayonetta 2, and my all-time favorite 3DS game is Fire Emblem Fates. So I'm going to be buying 4 amiibos the day that comes out.
Well, yeah, because Bayonetta actually has 2 different amiibos, right?
Yep. Same with Corrin. Yeah, and Corrin it's both the male and the female version, which is awesome.
And Cloud, right? Is that the other one?
Cloud.
Cloud, yeah. Which I don't care as much about. because I don't at all associate Cloud with the Nintendo world. I know that he's in Smash Brothers, and that's fine. But yeah,
And those are the last 3 Smash Brothers amiibo. I thought for sure, and I think a lot of other people did too, that they weren't going to announce those until they announced a Smash Brothers game for the Switch.
Right.
They have not done yet, but they did announce these amiibos. So there's that.
Well, I bet E3 we're going to hear about Super Smash Brothers Deluxe.
You think?
Oh yeah,
I think so.
You think they do?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they probably will.
Because I mean, it's the best. Just like Mario Kart, it's the best version of Smash that's ever been made. They can get a whole new audience that has never played it.
I think some people in the fighting game community might.
I think just about everyone except Ethan would disagree with you there.
What do you think is better?
yeah.
What do you think? Brawl is better?
Yeah.
No, Melee.
Wait, which one? Wait, which one was Brawl and which one was
Brawl
one?
is the Wii game.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, the GameCube.
Okay, the
was
GameCube
best
one.
GameCube one.
Yeah, the GameCube one.
That was
is the best
awesome.
one.
All right,
Yeah.
some other stuff from the Nintendo Direct. We're getting a AA battery pack for Joy-Cons, which is like
That That to me is so funny because like
Not solving a real
thing is
problem.
that, like the Joy-Con batteries last what, like
20 hours.
know.
20 days or something before they
Yeah,
die.
20 hours. Yeah.
I think I'm getting those neon yellows though. Those look really cool.
I still
Yeah.
remember the night that they announced the Switch, and one of the things I said to CJ was they're going to try to sell us multicolored Joy-Cons. He's like, no,
course they are. Of course they
won't do
are.
that. Here we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Of course, the version of the
that'll
Switch that I have is the neon.
Yeah, that's the first new set of Joy-Cons I think I'm going to get. And it's all happening during E3. So,
Yes, indeed. We got Namco Museum coming to Switch. Very
yay,
cool.
Splatterhouse.
Yeah.
Splatterhouse. Arcade Splatterhouse.
I'm disappointed in the Namco Museum.
Really?
Why's
yeah, I think it's great that Splatterhouse is on there. I think it's great that it has the 2 rolling thunders, but
Mhm.
it's missing a whole lot of games.
It is. Well,
Yeah,
remember, they
excellent.
always used to release multiple Namco collections.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe we're
but
just on N right now, you know? We got to wait for the
no.
AMC, you know?
I don't know. Seems
I
like
hear you. It's stingy. It is definitely stingy. I do
Yeah.
like, though, that you can play them with the screen flipped to
Yes.
its side.
Yeah.
Did they say that? You can do that?
My understanding is that
I
that's
know
been
a lot of
confirmed.
people were talking about they should do that, but I did not see any sort of official confirmation about that.
Well, my only concern is, presuming they did confirm it, and my understanding is that they did, I wonder how I'm going to do that, because that would seem pretty unwieldy without some type of stand. So, hopefully the Hori stand will do the trick, or...
It's not made to hold the Switch screen that way, though. You'd have to do it like tabletop mode, where you just flip the screen and put it down on on an actual table
Oh, yeah, I suppose so.
to do it that way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I wonder if that's really going to be a thing.
Just for the record, CJ, I am reading Nintendo.com.
And they do say that?
Their page detail: play games with your screen horizontally or switch to a vertical layout for the classic
Aha.
arcade game feel.
There you go.
Good for
Okay.
them.
So what
Then
this
I'm wrong.
means is never challenge me again.
Wow.
Mm,
I can't go on. I don't know.
So what else have we got? One of the big things I thought that came out of this Nintendo Direct was the Payday 2 announcement. And not really for the
Really?
fact that it's Payday 2, because that's an older game and kind of who cares. But the thing about it that I found interesting was that here is basically a class, AA, whatever you want to call it, multiplayer shooter that is being announced after launch for a Nintendo system. And I think part of the reason why Payday 2 is getting ported is because it's probably a very quick port. But to me, I think this signals that maybe AAA is going to put more.
I think you're
Switch?
reading a whole lot into that.
I am reading a whole lot into it, but
I read it. I read
would
it
not have
as.
expected this. Honestly,
I read it as we're going to see more old games get ported.
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
the Switch.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think you're absolutely right. And when Ubisoft announces that Assassin's Creed Rogue is coming out on the Switch, I will be a very, very happy man. because that game was sort of lost. I came out on the PS3 and 360 after the PS4 and Xbox One were out. So I would love to go back and play that. And if it comes out on the Switch, then fantastic. I'll buy it.
Boy, I hope it doesn't run like crap, though. I mean, that's my big concern.
Yeah.
It'll be one of these things where it comes out and it's already an old game and it doesn't run as well as the Xbox One and PS4 versions, which are, my understanding, not the best versions of the game to begin with. And it's just going to be another example of third-party games don't run well on this device.
Well, yeah, I think the lesson, even from like Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2, which I have heard runs terribly on the Switch. Yeah. I think the lesson here is that, okay, if older games are going to get ported to the Switch, I think that's fine, but I think you're right. They have to be ported with care, and they have to actually not look like crap when being brought to the system.
And it has to be targeting the handheld version of the game, the one that's 40% underclocked, right, as opposed to the version that is docked. Because I think, unfortunately, we're going to see a lot of cases where, like Snake Pass, a game runs notably better on the docked version than it does on the tablet version, and that's not good.
I don't know. There's really not a way to avoid that in a lot of cases, though.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, when you play something like Breath of the Wild, part of the magic of that experience is it runs perfectly both ways
because it was made
by Nintendo.
Well, it doesn't run perfectly both ways. There's lots of places.
No. But what I'm saying is, it doesn't feel like there's a major difference between.
Do you think because that this design they've actually done themselves a disservice? Where, like, do you feel like we'll be seeing significantly better games on this console 3 years down the road, or are we already sort of hitting? You know what I mean? Because normally, you get into a console cycle, and games tend to get second, third generation tend to get a lot better. Are we going to see that on the Switch, or
it might be that it's a similar situation to the Xbox and PlayStation 4, where like an iterative Switch comes out that is more powerful, and there's not new games. I know. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not happy about that possibility, but it does seem like it's the machine itself right now is a hardware compromise, right? So that it does everything it says on the box, but it really is underpowered compared to everything out there.
Right.
Which is par for the course for Nintendo portables, right?
Yeah. Or for Nintendo, period.
Well, yeah, for Nintendo, period. I mean, I think you can still count on Nintendo to bring their A game, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, so much as I like Titanfall 2, like when we heard stories about the devs saying they laughed when they were asked if Titanfall 2 was coming to the Switch, it's like, okay, I got that, but you know what? Good as your game is, Breath of the Wild kicks the crap out of it. So, like, make a better game before you start laughing out loud.
Wow.
That's apples and oranges.
Right.
Yeah, that's really simple, oversimplifying it, but
that's oversimplifying it. And I think at that point in time, you could laugh about it because Nintendo failed with the Wii U. Like they were not a real market leader. And if things continue with the Switch, where it's looking like it's going to sell a whole lot of units and people like the form factor, they like playing games on this thing, then it's going to become harder and harder to ignore, right?
Yeah, that's true. I think that will be the case. I think that we are going to see, even at E3, a lot of people announcing that they're working on specific brands without being able to show anything. Very much like at the Nintendo Direct for Fire Emblem, they said, with just a logo of Fire Emblem, we're doing the next full-on Fire Emblem game, and it's coming to Switch. I think we're going to see those types of announcements because devs probably didn't plan on supporting it, but now that those early launch numbers are out, they'll probably want to be able to say they are supporting it.
And of course, they'll have their Ken Levine moment of, we're going to make Bioshock for the Vita. Like, but maybe something like that will actually happen this time. All right, let's move on.
Okie dokie.
Microsoft. It came to light last week that they are going to be allowing self-service refunds on Xbox One and Windows 10 digital games as long as you have played under 2 hours and it's within 14 days of purchase.
That's fair.
That's like Steam. That's like Steam, and I love that for Steam support.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like super awesome. So hopefully see Sony follow quickly.
And this is the beauty of two platforms that compete.
Yeah, and then we can spend the next 5 years wringing our hands over the fact that Nintendo still hasn't followed suit.
Yeah, when this news came out, it's like, all right, now Sony has to do it, and Nintendo will never do it. So it doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not even worth complaining about because, of course, they're not going to do it.
Now, I wonder if this is going to be something that is a uniform solution, because the one concern I have about it is that I know that it became a really touchy issue on Steam with VR games specifically, because most VR games offer less than 2 hours of content.
Right. Yeah, that's a good call.
Actually, Ethan,
Yep.
they offer fewer than 2 hours.
Fewer than 2 hours. Thank you, Professor.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I think
that's an issue.
it could
That's
be
a
an
good point.
issue for sure, but it's such a good thing that they're doing this, and
Oh, I think it's great overall. Yeah.
I really, really, really hope that Sony follows suit, because the two games that I regret purchasing and would want to return are for the PlayStation 4.
Well, I mean, I know that for me personally, one of the main reasons I don't want to go all digital is because I want that ability. If it's a game that I'm not 100% sure on, I want that ability to trade it back in when it's still worth something, or to sell it to somebody else when I can get almost full price for it. And this removes a major barrier for me as far as going all digital goes. Absolutely.
And of course, they're going to prevent people from abusing the policy, it sounds like, just like Steam. So, I mean, it's not going to be something where you can just buy everything and return it. You can't use it as a rental store, basically.
Right.
You want that, continue to use Redbox and whatnot. But
no, I think it's great.
This will be something for that one purchase where, you pre-ordered No Man's Sky, you get it, and you don't like it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and for me, the most recent one was Overwatch. I spent, full price for it, brought it home, played it for an hour and 40 minutes. I'm like, nope. But I'm stuck with it and had to take a bath, trading it in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. All right. Let's talk about Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, because that is coming out in August.
Good, because I had no idea what I was going to play in August.
You mean you're not going to be catching up on everything else that came out?
Dude, I'm still playing stuff that came out last year. I don't even know. I don't even know. Yeah.
So they released a new trailer. I think the price on it is $39.99. So it's a little less expensive, $49.99 in Canada. And if you pre-order it, you get Jak and Daxter.
What do you mean, get it?
You have to take it.
You have to take it.
No, I mean, you get the entire Jak and Daxter trilogy?
Yes. You get a free digital copy of Jak and Daxter, the precursor Legacy for PS4 when that launches.
Just the first game, not the whole trilogy.
The first game. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
That's great. That sounds great all around. I was planning to buy the trilogy anyway, and I would not miss.
I don't
Uncharted.
think it is a trilogy. To be clear, I think they're releasing it as it's a PS2 game on PS4 type thing where they're going to be re-releasing them, but it's not like they're going to do a Jak and Daxter trilogy release.
Oh, so it's not like Crash.
Correct. Right.
Okay. That's
well,
fine.
I mean, it is like Crash in that it's a really mediocre.
I knew that was coming. I knew it.
So yeah, in some ways, it's a lot like Crash.
Oh. Well, the first two games were good.
No, I think it's generous, and I think that there's actually precedence for this. I mean, one of the coolest things about buying games for Xbox One is like, you bought Quantum Break and they gave you a free copy of Alan Wake, right? Bought Rainbow Six Siege and you got Rainbow Six Vegas 1 and 2 for free. It's a similar type of thing, and I think it's a great value add. And I cannot wait to play another Uncharted. I love the idea of playing as a new character. I love that world. I don't want to get rid of it, and so I will be really excited to play that one day one for sure.
Yeah, and they are selling it as this is a full Uncharted experience.
And I think the other thing that benefits this one is that it's going to be, since it's not Uncharted 4, it's going to be somewhat lowered expectations, which probably means when you play it, if it is of the quality of Uncharted 4, you're going to walk away feeling really great about it.
Yeah. Have you seen that Naughty Dog's working on Last of Us 2 stuff?
Yeah.
Druckmann's been posting various photos on Twitter.
Cannot wait.
I'm looking forward
I can't wait
to
for that either. Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. And Sony just did a really interesting interview piece on their YouTube channel where Neil Druckmann interviews the director of Horizon Zero Dawn. And I thought that was great content. Really,
That's
really
cool.
interesting stuff. So I want to see more of that from all the first parties, because that was just great. I mean, the Parappa interview that they did recently was great too. But yeah, more of this stuff, please, because it was great. All right, Star Wars Battlefront 2. There's a trailer that was released. It sounds like part of Star Wars Celebration, right?
Yeah, it came out at the same time. Looked really, really, really nice. It looked like it looks like it might have a fairly robust single player mode, because the whole first part of it is talking about like the was it Forgotten Soldiers, something like that, like a Empire special ops group basically that was on Endor when the Death Star blew up.
Yes.
And that it's funny though, because it's weird. The trailer kind of drops that thread halfway through and never really says, like, I don't think it ever actually comes out and says at the end, like, and the full single player mode or anything like that. Like, it feels like it's there and then it's not, and I'm not sure what I'm supposed to think about it at that point. But what I saw looked really great. And I mean, Battlefront was awesome. So
save something for E3, right?
I mean, but man, I'd love to have a decent single player. I mean, I know that it's just going to be like, objectives in an open mission structure, like you always see with those things. But if it's halfway decent, I'm all in.
Or they could do it like what Overwatch is doing now. I don't know if you heard about that special event that they're doing. They took a piece of the Overwatch backstory and made it a PvE event in Overwatch, so you can have a group of 6 players play against bots, kind of like a horde mode type thing.
Cool.
In Overwatch, which I thought was super interesting. I haven't played it yet, but I watched some streams of that, and that looked really fun. So you could introduce some story into a sort of horde mode style game type.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, looks good though.
It's weird. The new lead character, in Battlefront 2, went to high school with my wife.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. I didn't.
The lead character, the person who does the voice.
Well, it's
the actual lead character.
Yeah. My wife went to high school with a CG.
Okay.
Stormtrooper lady.
Oh, I see.
No.
She majored in Uncanny Valley.
Yeah.
Uncanny Valley High.
Yeah. No, Aiden Versio, played by Janica Gavankar, was in my wife's graduating class.
All right.
So there you go.
Nice.
So weird. So I asked my wife, is it going to be really weird for you when we're sitting there playing this game, seeing or hearing this voice and seeing someone who's kind of looks like this girl you went to high school with? And she said no.
All right.
So there's the end of that story.
Good story.
It's a good story. Yeah.
Amazing story. All right.
Andy Dick also went to our old high school.
I heard that, but not you weren't in the same class or anything.
No, he had graduated before I did. Yeah.
Right.
So just saying.
All righty. Well, how about we do what we've been playing?
Sure.
Okie dokie. Artichoke.
Okay. Phil, how about you start us off?
Oh boy, here we go.
Oh boy.
What have I been playing? I've been playing some more Lego City Undercover. Getting further than that. That's a fun game. I don't care what Greg says.
It's a fun game. I don't think it's
good,
as great as I hoped it was going to be based on all of the conversation I've heard on this podcast and others. I think the problem with it is just like all of the battles are just, there's no skill to it. It's
a Lego game.
I know.
Expect. It's a Lego game.
I know, but I'm just saying, it's like I've been constantly told that this is like a significant cut above the other Lego games, and I don't see that. I think
here's what it is. It's a significant cut above the other Lego games from the standpoint of it's really funny And
Yeah.
It is funny.
It's
Yes.
a pretty good story, and they have some good movie references in there.
And,
this
like,
this was
lots-
at a time before they were doing like original stuff with the movie licenses that they had, right?
And
Yeah.
like lots to explore, and you have
mean,
this
you know,
big
the
city
other-
that you have free reign of, and
The other nice thing is this game is actually only 4 years old, so it's actually one of the newer games on the Switch.
Oh man. Well, I mean, no, but here's the other thing too, and I know it's totally unfair, but yeah, the control is kind of loose, and if you like fall on rocks, you kind of start slipping around, and you know there's long load times and stuff, and it's just like it's not as crisp or optimized as something like Zelda, which you can't expect, but it's like I've been playing. I know, no, but hold on. It's like I've been playing Zelda for 95, 100 hours, so like shifting to this is a big change.
Get used to this complaint, by the way, when hearing Ethan talk about any Switch game now.
It's not as good as Breath of the Wild. So.
You know, I've been playing.
Well,
it's disappointing.
come on. I mean, like realistically though, when you've spent a lot of time on one game and you're moving to the next, it's like you're used to zippy load times and stuff like that, and this is just not optimized that well. It's fine. It's a entertaining thing, but I don't feel myself like being drawn to play it, every single night. It's just something that kind of is in the mix of the other stuff I'm also playing on the Switch. And I'll get through it and I'll enjoy it just fine. But I don't think it's a great game. I think it's just a good game.
Okay.
Well, it's a Lego game.
So, what else
Yes.
you got? Yeah, it's a Lego game, exactly.
Oh boy. But you know what? I've been playing a little more Pokemon. I busted out Pokemon Sun again. I've been playing some more of that, and I'll tell you what, I've gotten really hooked on the trading in that game. You can do there's a trading mechanic. Have you played much of? I know CJ's the only one on this show who would play the Pokemon games.
Mhm.
But have you played much of Sun or Moon?
Yes, I've played a lot of Moon.
Okay. Now, did you do any of the online trading mechanics
No,
in that game?
no, I did not.
They have a trading feature where you can you have a Pokemon that you want to get rid of, and you go.
Quest a certain kind.
Well, it's not even that. They have a kind of random lottery type thing where you select which Pokemon you want to trade, and it tries to find you a partner who's doing the same thing, and it just automatically swaps your Pokemon for you. You have no idea what you're getting.
Oh, okay.
The person you're trading with has no idea what they're getting. It's just kind of like it's kind of like a gotcha mechanic with real people involved, where you're just sort of trading, and it is surprisingly fun and addictive. Just going out, maybe catching like 4 or 5
A crap ton of Caterpies and Rattatas,
well,
and
basically, yeah, and seeing what you get.
so
And
here's Phil on this end of that conversation. There's some guy in Japan who's like this. There's this dude in America that keeps giving me
Sucks.
Caterpies and Rattatas. What is up with
it
that?
sucks. This is the worst.
Yeah.
No, but it's great because sometimes you'll just get another Caterpie or Rattata back. Sometimes you'll get something that's from clearly later in the game, and it's like level 1, so there are people who find it fun to breed rare Pokemon and just randomly trade them off to people, so
Okay.
you can get some cool stuff. So it's just it's a fun little mode I've been messing around with.
My 4-year-old daughter was talking about Rattata this weekend, but the way she says it, because she was trying to read it, and she reads it rat ta over and over. And she was driving my son crazy. He was getting so, it's like, that's not how you say it. So of course that's the only way she'll say it now. It's rat ta.
Rat-ta-ta.
Love
Yeah,
it.
that's the if you ever go looking for it, CJ, it's the Wonder Trade.
Okay.
Is what they call it. So
Alright.
Wonder Trade is wonderful.
Full.
So think about that. Think about that wordplay.
I won't.
Hey, speaking of gotcha mechanics,
Yeah.
and speaking of watching weird things on YouTube,
You're talking my language.
I tried an iPhone game this week. That it is crazy, but I really dug it. I really enjoyed it. It's called Crane Game Toreba.
Yes.
It is Japanese. It is a Japanese game called Crane Game Toreba, and it is totally a
Crane Game Terrible.
no.
I don't know what they're trying to say with that, but that's what it's
Toreba.
called.
Toreba. I don't know what Toreba means.
Hmm.
Toreba. But it's you playing Japanese UFO catchers. You have Japanese crane games.
Okay.
And it's not like a game. You're not playing like a digital recreation of a claw machine. You are remote controlling an actual claw machine in Japan
Uh-huh.
that has a couple of webcams hooked up to it, one from the front and one from the side, and you can switch viewpoints. And you have to pay money, of course. This is not free to play.
You're not making a joke. This is actually.
This is a real thing that I played. Yes.
Oh my god.
This is a real thing. You pay some money, and yeah, the top half of the screen is, like I said, a couple webcam views of a Japanese claw machine. And you hit the button to move the claw over, and you hit the button to move the claw back, and you get to watch it pick up your prize and try and win.
Deliver it to the random person that's standing in front of the machine. That's
Exactly.
who's actually there, who is not you.
Yeah, who gets to keep it? No, what happens is you set up an account there, and you play as however many games you want, and if you win any prizes, they will ship them to you for free.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and
that's despite being in the U.S.
That's despite being in the U.S.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I actually threw in just because I love UFO catchers. When I was in Japan, the couple times I was in Japan, I spent a decent amount of time at UFO catchers in the arcades there. Won a few little stuffed prizes. Actually won some pretty nice stuff, right? The thing is, for those unfamiliar with Japanese crane games, the prizes are of significantly higher quality than what you get out of the US machines.
True.
Which are like, carnival level stuffed junk. But over there it's like real, like,
You gotta stuff your junk.
you got this is stuff you would actually buy in a store, So I threw in $20 and tried to win a prize, and actually ended up winning a prize. I won a Snoopy pillowcase, a Japanese Peanuts pillowcase.
Okay.
And it is, in theory, on its way to me now.
All signs point to it being on its way to you right now.
So I will
not
report
going
back
to be a
in.
box of rocks. It will actually be.
Well, if it's a box of rocks, it's probably going to cost more to ship than
well,
an
that's
actual.
true.
It would have been cheaper to just mail me the pillowcase. But so dedicated are they to cheating the consumer that they will spend significantly more money just to make me feel bad. But so I'll report back in a week or two, or however long it takes. For
Wait, how much money did you spend on this?
$20.
$20.
$20.
Wow.
$20.
Okay.
But I was getting the hang of the controls and figuring out how the claw moves and
Okay.
and but the strategy is for these Japanese crane games is never actually try to grab the prize in the middle. You want to use the claw to sort of knock the prize down as opposed to actually picking it up. So
okay.
But tying into what we were talking about earlier, which were we even broadcasting when we were talking about watching people unpacking groceries on YouTube?
Yeah, I think we're broadcasting that.
Okay. But the thing is, they have a ton of machines, dozens and dozens of machines with different prizes in them. And you can swap between them freely, but if someone is playing it, you can go in and sort of reserve your place, like, oh, I'll be the next in line or the third in line or whatever. But you can just go in and watch people play as well, which I was sitting there with my son, and we were both
way into it,
fascinated by watching people try to win like a stuffed Pokemon doll. Like, oh, come on, do it. Oh, he just missed. and and you're getting irritated, trying to talk to the game about how,
Sure.
no, use the claw to knock it down from the back, not from the front, you idiot. So I thought that was interesting.
Okay.
It was a neat little scam to get money from foreigners.
And it worked on you.
And it worked on me.
It did.
I can't say I'm going to, start doing this every day, but for a one-time thing, I was like, it's kind of cute. It's fun, and it actually it saves a video because, like I said, it's all webcams that it's broadcasting on. So if you go to my YouTube channel right now, you can actually see me winning the prize. It's pretty eventful.
Okay.
Pretty exciting. You can relive my excitement.
Before this story, I thought the whole idea of YouTubers that make money off of literally unpacking their groceries,
I know, right?
was stupid. But now,
Now you've seen the light.
yeah.
And that
There's
video,
an even stupider thing on YouTube.
people remote controlling claw machines.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Wow.
What else you got?
So
We are
hopefully
living
I
in the
get
future.
hopefully I get 10,000 people at least to watch that video of me
Yes,
knocking
you can
a
make a
pillowcase so I can make some of my money back. It's a non-monetized video, so you're in luck, folks. The only other thing I played this week was the Puyo Puyo Tetris demo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I played that.
I played that too.
Yeah. What'd you think of that, fellows?
I loved
Nice.
it. I can't wait. Yeah.
I suck
Never
at
played Puyo Puyo Tetris.
Puyo Puyo, and
So do I.
I probably won't play this anymore because I suck at Puyo Puyo.
But you can
I just have
play
no
just
interest in getting
Tetris
better.
if you want.
Yeah, I got Tetris on a lot of other consoles.
Okay.
I think I'm kind of in Greg's, but I think I got what I needed out of the demo.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
that was one of our one of the things that previous co-host Mike Phillips would always say, and that's the first thing I thought when I finished the demo. Phil was the exact same thing. It's like, that was cool. I think I've pretty much experienced all I want to experience of this.
Well, in kind of building off that, after I played the demo, I said, yeah, that was kind of fun. Okay, now I'm going to go to Amazon and cancel my pre-order.
Yep.
So when the announcement was made on the release date on that game, I was like, oh, okay. I'm interested in Puyo Puyo Tetris. Sure. It doesn't look like there's a lot of other stuff coming out, so I'll want a new Switch game. I'll probably pick it up for that. Then Mario Kart 8 is like 3 days after that, and then a whole bunch of indie games, digital-only games have come out in the intervening weeks that the Switch has been available. So now I'm like, well, I don't know that I really need Puyo Puyo Tetris on the Switch.
Yeah, I think if it were not for the fact that I have coworkers and family members that I can play against, I'd be less likely to pick it up. But it's something that I think I'm going to have a lot of fun playing with my daughter, and she's going to get a copy as well. And then at work, the other guys that have Switches are planning to get it, and that's going to be kind of a nice lunchtime thing. Yeah, I think that it's definitely most fun with the local co-op. Or sorry, the local competitive rather, as opposed to just playing online or by yourself.
I think that'll be Mario Kart for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Take that up. All right. What else you got? That was it?
That's
you want to talk about anything else?
How much do you want me to play in a week? Jeez, buddy.
I don't know, man.
Come on.
Greg, what do you got?
Well, I played the Puyo Puyo Tetris demo. I played more Breath of the Wild. I know we have talked about that game to death. But I came across Eventide Island.
Eventide Island, yeah.
Eventide Island, which I think you've spoken about before, CJ, where you basically get on the island and say, "Ha ha, you're naked and you have no weapons. Have fun."
Yeah.
And don't get hit by lightning.
You can't save.
And you can't save.
I love that sequence. I did that this week as well.
Yeah, so I got to say, I really enjoyed it too. It really, hang on a sec, Pittsburgh just won. Yes. Posting
the kid again.
Yeah, I will be in a minute. I when I first got to it, I was like, okay, I don't really want to do this. And then as I died once, right at the end, which was kind of a bitch, but immediately went right back to the island because I was like, okay, now I got this. And what are those giant? What are those giant? Hinox, I think is what I would call them, but
they're pronounced Minox.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't embarrass me at Celebration this year.
Chewing on the power cables again. Anyway, I had never fought one of those. I feel like I'd never fought one legitimately because I would always sort of get out of his range, shoot an arrow at him, then you fall over, and I back up to the point that he wouldn't chase me, and then I'd sort of move in again, and like that was how I would always sort of cheese those guys. You can't really do that on this island.
No.
So
he just a quick aside, he cheesed me. So I got him down to like just a fraction of his health bar. And then he followed me up the mountain and I was hiding and then he just disappeared.
Yes.
And I looked over and he had respawned with all of his health sleeping again.
oh, what?
Oh.
Did you
So I had
get
to go through the whole thing.
that brings up a good point because one of the things that happened is the second time I pretty much cleared out the whole island, and right above where the Hynock is, on the plateau that leads just to the plateau where the shrine ends up appearing, there's a fairly large group of enemies there, and I got up there and I just beat them, and just as I beat them, the effing blood moon rose.
Oh.
And they were all right there again. I was like, no. And then I just sort of dove in and cleaved my way through all of them again. And the upside of that was I got a bunch of weapons and arrows and things out of it. So, but yeah, I mean, the final battle that I had with the giant on that island was pretty intense. I kind of pecked away at him from a distance for a little while, and then ended up basically just going down and wailing on him with my sword, and every time he got close, just running in between his legs, so he'd had to turn around because his legs are armored, so you can't just hit him in the leg and it doesn't work. So, but anyway, good times.
If you have something with fire, you can usually because usually he uses like a wooden shin guard or whatever. If you can get,
I hadn't thought about that, but you're right. They are wooden. Yes.
So now I, much like CJ, ended up putting about another 15 hours into it after I'd beaten it. And I am loving going to the shrines and all that, but part of me kind of wishes that there was, say, some boss or something that, you are required to have like 20 hearts or something to challenge, or some type of, goal beyond just defeating Ganon, because without motivation other than to just get more hearts, which I don't currently need right now, it does feel like I'm not progressing in a meaningful way. I'm still having a good time, but I just wish there was some other, major goal to accomplish in the game.
I mean, there are a bunch of mini goals around, depending on how hard you look for them. But then again, we're also getting DLC in the summer and the winter.
Yeah, that's true.
To look forward to.
Are you upset that there's not more to do in the game you spent 95 hours on?
No. I'm loving every bit of it. I'm just saying, like, I think it's interesting that a lot of people put off going to challenge Ganon, and I think a lot of that's that they still want that feeling of like a big end goal at the end. When you finish Ganon earlier and you keep playing, it feels like the things you're collecting, which is hearts or stamina, you don't really need that stuff anymore. So you're doing it for the fun of it, but
for me, it was going back and getting armor that I hadn't completely upgraded yet, and searching areas in the map that I hadn't really been to, or I'd only been to once. And I had some points of interest where I felt like I should go back to them, so I did some of that stuff. I mean, I'm not loading up Zelda anymore every night, but I do have stuff that I could do that is not just getting heart containers and stamina.
Yeah. Well, just one other thing, my daughter's been talking to the 8th graders in school, so she was very, very prepared after getting the Master Sword and rushing the castle. When she fought the Lionel in there, she shot...
Spoilers.
Sorry, that's not a big spoiler, but she shot 3 ancient arrows at him at once.
You fight Lionel in there?
She shot 3 ancient arrows at once with the bow that you get from the Rudos, and it creates a black hole that just gobbles them up in one shot.
You fight Lionel Richie?
Phil, if you haven't seen him, just look up at the ceiling.
No, he was dancing on it.
Oh, there he
Right?
is. There he is. I had my eyes closed earlier, and I was groping at something kind of. I thought that might have been him.
Not just using a train set?
Lionel Richie. Lionel Richie.
Right. Oh, okay.
He's a singer. Singer
Greg,
songwriter.
you had more games you wanted to talk about?
Yes. So I actually grabbed the Blizzard Mountain expansion for Forza Horizon 3 a couple weeks ago when it was on sale half price. So $10. I finally fired that up a couple nights ago, and man, that's a good time.
Yeah.
I've talked about this long ago on the show before, but I love maybe it's because I'm Canadian. I love like winter settings in games, especially in a game that looks that pretty to begin with. And especially where it has a night cycle, because a lot of this is done that I think driving around through snow at night, extremely anxious feeling a lot of the time, but also kind of pretty. And that's what a lot of this is. Like the way that this starts actually is you go to the pickup spot in the main map, and your car is, of course it is, picked up by a helicopter, and you're flown to the top of Blizzard Mountain. And basically, as soon as you hit a button, the claws explode, the car drops onto the top of the mountain, and then you're racing down the mountain in the snow, in a blizzard. And it's so cool. So much fun. And it actually reminds me a lot of, for anybody who's an old school racing fan, remember these games, the Rally Sport Challenge games. I don't know why it does, but one of the things that you don't see a lot in racing games lately, I find, is hill climbs, which are a lot of fun. I always thought were a lot of fun. They're different. They're a different type of racing, and a lot of the stuff in Blizzard Mountain actually feels like that. So anyway, yeah, I mean, at regular price, $20, this is actually a pretty good deal. It was, another reason to go back to Forza Horizon 3, which I didn't need much of one, but I do like it too because it's fairly compact. The map is quite small, but it's you don't get that sort of that overwhelming sense of, oh my God, there's so much to do, I don't know what to do next, that you kind of get in a lot of open world games. You get a nice compact package here, so really, really nice. I'm digging it a lot.
Cool.
All right.
That's it for me.
That's what you got. All right. Well, I've been playing ukulele.
I've heard a lot of things about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right at the beginning, so I really don't have much to say about it. But I was one of the Kickstarter backers, and I did expect to get a game that played a lot like Rare's old platformers, and I pretty much got exactly that. All the way down to the characters sounding like exactly. So there's a lot of that, but so far so good. It does seem like it's mini game heavy, which I don't know if I like that part of it. But I'll continue to play. That. I got it on PS4, so. And I'm continuing to play Blaster Master Zero. I'm at Area 8 now, which is the last area in the game.
Nice.
Oh, man.
Yeah, enjoying that quite a bit. And I also picked up I Am Setsuna on the Switch.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How do you like it? Have you tried it yet?
I have tried it, yeah, and I really like it. The battle system is very old school. It's very old active time battle system type stuff.
Hit that
And it's
square
got
button at the right time.
That's right. You gotta hit it at the right time, and then also you have like a little power meter that you can do like a special effect after if you time it right when your character is attacking. So I like it so far. It's very old school, which I am totally down with. So, and I honestly don't care. Somebody said, "Oh, it runs 60 frames per second on PS4, but it's only 30 on Switch." I'm like, I could not care less.
Yeah, that doesn't make a difference to me either.
That, like, the game looks really beautiful on the Switch's screen on in handheld mode anyway, which is how I've primarily been playing it. So, yeah, I'll dig more into that. But if you enjoy an old school RPG like I do, you might enjoy I Am Setsuna.
Well, and I want to say thank you for vindicating what I said before about Has Been Heroes last week as well. It was very, very nice to hear that you like that one.
It's a fun little game. Yeah, I mean, I think reviewers aren't into the roguelike aspect of it. And of course, the game, like when you die, you really get nothing for your trouble.
Right. Well, a chance to unlock other stuff,
Yeah, I mean,
but it's limited. Yeah.
It's limited. It's certainly not like Rogue Legacy at all, right?
No.
Wait a second. No, it is. Anyway, yeah. And that's all I've been playing. So, Ethan, go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm going to add 2 more to the stack. So just to qualify, I actually did get as far as putting Persona 5 into my PS4. So it's installed and ready to go. And hopefully I'll be able to talk about that next week. But since I had 2 flights since last we talked, I've been focusing more on the Switch stuff. And outside of Lego City Undercover, the 2 I've picked up and really started playing a lot of is Mr. Shifty. Has anyone else bought that one?
No.
No, okay. So that one, most people are describing it as kind of like Hotline Miami meets Nightcrawler. So you can jump around an environment like Nightcrawler, up to 5 quick jumps, before having to wait for a refresh. And like Hotline Miami, it's top down. It's all fists, so you're punching people through windows, trying to solve a lot of puzzles. There's a kind of a Velocity 2X vibe to it as well, which I'm digging. And it has a very simple, clean aesthetic. It has some frame rate issues here and there. It's not been developed by the original dev team. It was ported over by a 2-team crew, and I think they've done a good job overall, but my understanding is it does run more smoothly on Steam. But that being said, I'm still having a good time with it, and it's a nice change of pace from some of the other titles. Just kind of easy to get in and get out. When you die, you load right back up like a second later, and you're back in the action. So it's pretty fun. It's not something I like as much as Graceful Explosion Machine, but it's a nice addition to the library. The other one that I think is going to get more long-term play is Voez. I finally picked that one up. So I initially passed on it because obviously a big part of the appeal of a Switch game is being able to play it on the television. But, I have found that I've moved from carrying both the Vita and the Switch around to just the Switch. And one of the things, of course, I said in the show that I loved on the Vita was Hatsune Miku. And so I've really been getting into rhythm and music games. So I wanted one on the Switch. And this one is really nice. It's not, I don't like it as much as I liked Hatsune Miku, but it has lots and lots of tracks. There's more than 100 tracks that comes for that $25. And, it's just challenging enough, just fun enough to be something that's nice to play as you're wrapping up your game session. The other thing that's kind of nice is, playing something that is pure touch. I didn't think I'd want that but for a music game, it's the best way to play, and it's kind of neat to just pull off the Joy-Cons and play it, without anything but tapping the screen. So in an instance where you're playing a music game, that works really well. Have anyone played that on any other device or not?
No,
I played it very briefly on iPhone and wasn't into it. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I've been playing.
All right, let's get into some tweets. Tweet. Hacker alias Mathman1024 says, I've read David Sheff's Game Over 5 times, and I'm now reading Console Wars. What other quote-unquote history books do you recommend?
I got a stack of books here to talk about.
Oh, there we go.
So here, I'll just jump into a few of them here. So I've got a lot of these books because this is something that I love to read about. One of the ones that I think a lot of people don't remember is one called Opening the Xbox.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great one.
Much more, actually, it's pretty old now, by Dean Takahashi. Sort of chronicles just how Microsoft got to the point that they released the Xbox. It's actually a pretty interesting story considering there was a bit of a battle going on internally at Microsoft about the Direct Xbox, as it was originally called.
Yeah.
Apparently there was a follow-up for the Xbox 360, although I've never read that. Got my copy here of The First Quarter by Steve Kent, which this was the original name for a book that's now called The Ultimate History of Video Games.
Right.
Fantastic interviews in this.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Covers basically the first 25 years of video game history. I forget what year this was actually released, so it's a little outdated now, but still pretty amazing.
It's a labor of love, too. I mean, that guy put everything into making that book.
Yes, absolutely. Next one I got is by David Kushner. It's called The Masters of Doom.
Yep.
Yes, that one's great.
Amazing book. Story of basically id, but yeah, focused on Doom. Some great stories in here. They talk to all the principals.
I'm assuming you do have Game Over there too, yeah?
Oh yeah, but I mean, he already mentioned it.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Another one. So actually, I'm going to show this. So one of the very first game history books I ever read was by Leonard Herman, called Phoenix, Fall and Rise of Video Games. This is the second edition that came out long ago. I think I got this from Dan Shu, actually.
Yeah.
But anyway, something I didn't realize was happening until Dan mentioned it on Facebook is that he has since released, and I got to hold this. This is heavy. He's since released Phoenix 4.
Oh, jeez.
This just came out. This is a massive.
Whoa.
Yes.
And this literally goes through game history year by year, starting in what year did it? 1971.
Yeah.
And this book goes all the way to, God, I think last year.
Thing's tremendous.
It's massive,
Yeah,
and it's
you've been
filled
updating
with
that really
pictures,
frequently.
and it's amazing. I'm only halfway. I'm a little over halfway through it, and it's
Is
incredible.
it well written? Is it well
It is
written?
extremely
Yeah.
well written.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
And the thing is that like if he hasn't just kept adding years, he's actually gone back and rewritten a lot of the old content, because I read through that original Phoenix, well, the second edition, and I've been rereading through, of course, the years that were in there, and I learned a lot that I did not know. And this is speaking of someone
It's a
who
great
spends
book.
a lot of time reading about this stuff. So absolutely pick this up if you can.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Couple more here. This is a cool little book by Scott Cohen, Zap, The Rise and Fall of Atari. It's entirely Atari focused. It's right up into basically when the 2600 was, done.
The film adaptation with Scott Baio is not as accurate to the book as you might imagine.
Shocking. Here's my copy of
Oh,
Game Over.
actually,
my
Stuart,
well-read
one-
copy of Game Over. Go ahead.
One quick aside: you compelled me enough on Phoenix 4 to where I just clicked buy now on Amazon. But instead of buying the $39.99 physical version, I just bought the $19.99 Kindle version. So it is
Nice.
on
Yeah.
Kindle. Yeah.
So there's a couple books here by a guy named John Suspeniak. The Untold History of Japanese Game Developers.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, this guy went. These books are extremely dense, but he went and talked to a ton of old school Japanese game developers, all the way back onto the PC and everything like that. There's lots of pictures, maps of offices, places like Square and not Working Designs, Studio Alex and Game Arts, things like that.
Awesome.
This is volume 1. This is volume 2, is a little smaller. I assume volume 3 is on its way out.
Yeah.
And they're on
Oh
the
my
floor now.
gosh.
Oh God. Only
Oh,
a couple.
boy.
Only a couple more here.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
There we go.
So this one is really interesting. John Riccardi helped me get this. This is called Family Computer 1983 to 1994. So it's a Nintendo history book. It's from Japan, but the interesting thing is it's entirely in English as well. And it's got a ton of interviews with old school Nintendo game developers. And yeah, they're in Japanese and in English, every page.
Cool.
Nice.
So I would say also to add to that, there's a book called Smart Bomb that's really good. And that one has just a lot of developer interviews from Cliff Blazinski to, folks in Japan and whatnot. And I always got a lot of that. And Power Up from Chris Kohler as well.
Yep, Power Up's a good one too. I have that
Definitely.
one.
Yeah.
This one just went into a reprint. I don't know how easy to get. This is the one that I contributed to. The Mega Drive Genesis Collected Works.
Oh, yeah.
It's
yeah.
mostly a coffee table book, an art book from ROM. I forget exactly what the name of the publisher is, but it's got a
Cover
ton.
could be none more black.
It's got a bunch of great art, but it's also got a bunch of interviews at the back.
Nice.
Developers. And the last one that I will bring up is something that's fairly recent. It's written by Ken Horowitz, who runs Sega16.com. It's called Playing at the Next Level. Ken has for years and years and years been interviewing Sega developers, especially Sega of America developers, which is not something that gets covered very often. He's basically taken all those interviews and put together a more or less chronological history of Sega in the US right up until basically the discontinuation of the Dreamcast. And again, lots of information in here that you do not see all over the internet. A fantastic book. I highly recommend it. It's very new, so it should be easy to find. There's also a Kindle version of this. go check it out.
Hmm.
So that should get you started. Past game over.
That's a lot.
Wow.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
so of all of those, what would you say are your top two? Just to help them out a little bit.
Top two, the Phoenix 4, absolutely. And I would say the Ultimate History of Video Games.
Okay.
But I will, again, all props to Ken. Playing at the next level is a very close third.
Cool. I'll have to pick that one up myself.
All right.
I'm gonna throw this in here too. If you if you're looking for books talking about games, just more focusing on just kind of retro gaming, not necessarily history of the medium, but Hardcore Gaming 101 puts out. They've
Yes.
done a series of books focusing on like Sega games or Konami games. Data East. They recently had a Data East book that came out that was really good. Those are great.
Call out that the Untold History of Japanese Game Developer books, those are associated with Hardcore Gaming 101.
those are
Francis
Hardcore Gaming
Maniac is an HG 101, I think, contributor.
Okay,
Yeah,
nice,
associated with.
nice. And Jeremy Parrish's books are really good too. Actually, the
Oh,
Good
yeah.
Intentions and Game Boy World books that he's put out.
One of the things that I find, though, that you'll notice in a lot of the books that I covered, for me, I love all that stuff, and they're really, really great books. But I tend to gravitate more towards books that contain a lot of interviews,
There you
which those books don't tend to as much. But
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah. So
that's it.
All
That's the
right.
way I answered that tweet.
Nice. Some pro level tweet answer in there. All right. Hacker alias Z Miller 1902 says, have any of you played the Game Boy Color Metal Gear game? And if so, is it worth tracking down?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, that's a
yeah,
great
it
one.
is.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it
That
is.
was I did a cover story strategy guide for that for Pocket Games
Oh man.
back in the Ziff Davis days. So cool thing about that game, it's actually not canon. It takes place 7 years after the original MSX game. And it was only ever created because Konami Europe wanted a portable Metal Gear game
Really?
following Metal Gear Solid. Yes.
Huh.
So it was done by Konami Tokyo, I believe. Just Konami Japan. I don't know exactly which studio did it. But yeah, it's basically takes more or less the gameplay of the original game, like the MSX / well, not NES, but mostly the MSX game, and added a bunch of the features that you found in Metal Gear Solid. So a lot of the things that could do in Solid, you actually see in Ghost Babel, I think it's called here, Ghost Babel, however you say that word. Really, really good little game, though. Absolutely worth tracking down.
Yeah, it's probably also just one of the least played Metal Gear games, and it's
Yes.
right up there with anything else in the series.
Yep,
Yeah.
would agree totally.
Ghost Babel is the Japanese subtitle.
Yes,
BD dubs, yeah.
It was just called Metal Gear Solid here, right? Or just Metal Gear?
Yeah. Just Metal
Yeah.
Gear Solid in the US. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yup.
There you go. All right, let's wrap up with this one from Hacker Alias Rich Grisham, who says, what do you think is in store for Ratchet and Clank moving forward? Last year's reboot was terrific.
God, I love a new original game.
We
Yeah,
were
me
at
too.
GDC right next to the Insomniac booth, and they were showing on PS4 Ratchet and Clank trilogy. So for PS4,
Really?
yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
That would be very cool if that
Yeah.
if that is a thing. I'd love to see remasters of the rest of the games. I thought this one was great.
Yes.
Yep.
The first game was in dire need of reworking
Oh yeah.
because the later
It doesn't
games
hold up. Yeah.
the later games changed the mechanics in Ratchet and Clank quite a bit,
Mhm.
Yes.
and it was good that they went and redid that. I do hope we see more Ratchet and Clank in the future. Maybe E3 will see something more
Here.
on that.
Please.
That would be fantastic. I would prefer a new game over more remasters, but if they're going to be of the level of the remaster we got last year, I'm okay with that too.
Yep.
yep.
Alrighty, and that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question for us or would like to comment on something you heard, you can direct that to @P1Podcast on the Twitter, or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com. There you'll find our contact information. You'll find blog entries about Sega CD stuff from Mr. Greg Seward.
Someday.
Generation 16 episodes too.
Yeah, the latest episode's been. I mean, it's been a little while now, anyway. But the latest episode's kind of been on hold for the last couple of weeks because life is happening. So, hopefully, I'll get back into the groove on that very soon.
Okay. And you will find show notes for episodes like this. You may have missed all of the book names that Mr. Greg Seward rattled off there. We'll have links to those in the show notes.
I might even
Just,
put those links together for you, CJ.
Oh, that would
Wow.
be
Generous.
even better.
You know what, Greg? Just go through them again while we're here.
No.
You'll also
Masters
be able to find
of Doom.
information about Scoopfest Vegas 17 that we'll be at in the fall. In September. You'll be able, if you go to Scoopfest, if you go to Scoopfest 17, you'll be able to watch a live recording of Player One Podcast on Saturday, September 23rd, 2017.
We're not bringing all those books.
No. We won't have books or amiibo, but we'll do something. Yeah.
I'll see how many Switch games I can cram into my mouth.
And you'll find a message board on player1podcast.com where you can discuss this episode with us and our other listeners.
If you'd like to subscribe to player1podcast.com, you can do so by visiting player1podcast.com or by going to the iTunes Music Store. While you're at the iTunes Music Store, you can also invest $1.99
Cheap.
to pick up the Player One Podcast iPhone application. It gives you one-touch communication with us via the emails, the Twitters, the what have you. You also have all of our episodes ready to stream right to your listening device. And hey, Android cell phone, telephone users, the Player One Podcast iPhone application is available for your listening device as well for that same $1.99.
Also cheap.
Find that right over there at the Amazon Android Marketplace. We're also on Stitcher Radio. You can like us on Facebook. You can watch archives of our show and watch us live most weeks on the youtubes.com/P1 Podcast. And if you've liked what you've heard, and how could you can head over to patreon.com/P1 Podcast. Throw a few shekels our way. It keeps, it keeps me in remote control UFO catchers.
There we go. Yes.
That is a great
does.
Yes.
That's what it does.
Love it.
It's kind of like a gambling mechanic, right, Ethan?
Yeah.
Not spend capped. No.
No spend cap, but I do have physical control over the device, so it's kind of different from gambling in that sense, right?
No.
Really?
Since I'm actually controlling the thing, it's not just luck of the draw. It's
True. There is some skill involved.
There's a skill component
I've
involved
always
there.
said that was the
Slight.
key thing.
Yep,
Light.
there's a skill component.
Yep.
Yeah. And if you have a couple bucks left over, head over to generation-16.com, where you will find the Patreon link to help support Greg Seward's fantabulous web series about North America's favorite runner-up, the Sega Genesis.
Thanks for that.
So do that. And do you have any charitable things you're doing right now, Greg?
I don't have anything specific yet, although I think the first game that I want to try to marathon this year is going to be Panzer Dragoon Saga.
Oh, man.
I just need to figure out a date, so stay tuned for that.
Nice.
Watch on extra-life.org/participant/Seward, or keep listening here. When I figure out a date, I'll announce that, and hopefully people come in and start sending some money.
Nice. Siege,
Yo.
thank you so much.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you. Greg.
Yo.
Gregory. Thank you
Thank you, Phil.
so much. And Ethan.
Yes.
You don't have any letters I can roll in your name, unfortunately.
It's all right.
We have Christopher and Gregory and Ethan. You sound a lot less noble if I can't roll an R in your name. But you know what, Ethan? Thank you anyway for joining us.
Yeah, if you're welcome. And remember, my last name means unicorn, so
It's true.
that gives me a feeling of nobility anyway.
Robot.
What's your middle name? Do you want to share your middle name?
Everett.
Everett.
Wow.
Yeah.
E.
Ethan Everett Einhorn, welcome. There, so you see that now that works.
Great.
Now you're all fancy schmancy pants.
LL.
That's right.
Yep.
We called him E3 back in the day.
That is my rapper name.
The original.
You going to E3 this year? Oh yeah.
I go to E3 every week.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Every week the party is in E3.
Ew.
Ew.
Yikes. We're having fun with it, and
had
you
to
just
make
took it
it
too
weird.
far. Yeah. Ugh. Join us next time, won't you? But don't join us there.
But not before a shower.
Yeesh. We're gonna go flush out that system real quick.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Ugh.
everybody.